What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the concept of battle belts. I found there's a lot of confusion on the topic because people really generalize the purpose of a battle belt. So I want to take some time to go through the battle belts concept and to go through my personal setup so you guys would have the option to use my gear as a reference. So what is a battle belt? A battle belt, war belt, range belt, whatever you know it to be, is a piece of gear that its main goal is to complement your capabilities with your firearms. I say firearms because it can support both handgun and rifle, but I think it really leans more towards the handgun side of things. I want to make a disclaimer here because I'm coming from a civilian perspective. Your needs may vary depending on where you live or your occupation, so use this as a baseline and apply your personal wants and needs. Being able to have many different pieces of support gear prepped and ready at your disposal makes any mission set that much easier. Whether that be training, security work, or just working on your own homestead, being able to have life-saving equipment at your disposal without impeding your normal movement is very convenient. Now, there are many types of belts out there. For example, two-piece belts, which consist of an inner Velcro belt with an outer, more sturdier belt pressed on top, all the way to an outer belt which the name implies, is just put on the outer layer of your clothing. My personal preference is a two-piece belt because I find them to feel more secure and less cumbersome when I'm moving and engaging in physical activities. But that being said, there's nothing wrong with grabbing an outer belt. Outer belts, from what I've observed, tend to do well in colder temperatures. This is because you're able to wear any amount of layers or articles of clothing without fear of obstructing access to your belt. Two-piece belts are a little bit more tricky in that regard. I find when it's colder outside or even raining, my layers or jackets tend to impede on my draw and other ranges of motion with that type of setup. This isn't a deal breaker for me at all, but it's something I have to pay attention to when wearing more clothes. Outer belts really shine in this area, but with that being said, they fall pretty short in the warmer weather compared to the two-piece belts. When you're just wearing a t-shirt and there's not much tucked under the outer belt, they tend to move and slip. You can mitigate this by, tightening the belt down even more than you already have, but there will be some slight movement simply due to the design of the belt. If there's a company you guys know of that produces very secure outer belts, let me know down below. Definitely wouldn't mind checking that out, but as of right now, I haven't come across any worth keeping. So what is the purpose of these belt setups? Typically on a battle belt, you will see people running pistol mags, rifle mags, some sort of dump pouch, a holster, and depending on the individual, a med kit. Now, this is where you'll start to see many disparities between people's setups. Everyone buys a battle belt for many reasons, and this is why you see this. For example, if you look at someone that is a law enforcement officer, you'll see that they will have more gear focused to the job. Pistol pouches, handcuffs, tasers, and even a pouch or a fastener to hold a flashlight. But on the other hand, if you look at someone whose primary goal is to shoot competitions and matches, you'll see that they keep their belt super minimalistic. They will, for the most part, just have their holster with pistol and rifle mags strategically placed on the belt. Like I said, your mission and intent directly correlates to how you will set up your belt. So when should you use a battle belt? Well, for the majority of us, at the range or during a competition. But a battle belt is great for having the bare minimum in any encounter. Now, if you're anticipating danger to an unexplainable level, you're going to want more than just a battle belt. That's where slings, chest rigs, and plate carriers come into play. All of those will give you maximum capability and flexibility for whatever your mission dictates. All right, so now we'll move over to my belt setup. Like I mentioned before, I have a two-piece belt. I've had this particular belt setup for a few years now, and it's been doing everything I needed it to do. So this belt that I'm running right here is a Safelite tactical belt. I bought this in black, not knowing how I wanted to kit this out in the future. I wish I went with an OD green, but it is what it is. This belt comes in a few different sizes, so it'll fit the majority of people's waistbands. With that being said, make sure you're taking care of your physical health. Gear doesn't matter if you can't walk a few miles with it on. This belt is very stiff and has almost zero play. It's a minimalistic design and accepts standard duty pouches. The nylon webbing is double layered and keeps the intended form. I've yet to see it fray, and I've used this thing a good bit. In the front is a Cobra buckle, and this hasn't given me any issues. If you're going to have a battle belt, I highly recommend you find one with a Cobra belt. It's just simply reliable. Also, Safe Life advertises that this belt helps alleviate back pain. I don't know if that's true, but I just wanted to share that because that's what it says on their website. I've never had any back pain with it, so that could possibly be correct. Going over to the side, I have the Kiwi S-Tac double pistol pouch. The S-Tac pouches are my favorite pistol pouches. I also have a single pistol pouch that I sometimes run if I'm doing USPSA or any other competition that requires a belt setup. But for the most part, I like to just run two. It's just less on the belt and it keeps everything a little bit more sleek. The Kiwi pouches and even their mag pouches have these cool Kydex inserts that clamp onto your pistol mags when you insert them. I found the retention to be a bit much sometimes, but I'd rather have my mags be overly secure as opposed to loose and falling out while I'm running or getting into an unconventional position. So behind the pistol pouches, I have the S-Tac rifle pouch, and it has the same technology as the pistol pouches, meaning it has that Kydex insert. Again, I have the same complaint that the Kydex can really clamp down on your mags, but again, like I said before, I'd rather it be more secure than not secure enough. I do find inserting my mags does get tricky at times. It's mostly because of the angle of which I have to do it, but also because I'm fighting the Kydex insert to get my mag through the initial opening. Moving on back is what I'd say is the most useful and versatile part of this kit, and it's my dump pouch. This is an Ace-Tac dump pouch, and look, I don't care what kind of shooting you do, having a dump pouch is a luxury. Most companies advertise their dump pouches as a place to put your spent mags, but honestly, I use it for way more than that. On a normal range session, I'll switch it up between using it to hold water, snacks, pasters, and extra mags. There are just too many ways to use a dump pouch, and it's only beneficial if you get one. And this one's really cool. When you're not using it, you can just roll it up, and it has this Velcro that keeps it compact and out of your way. On the back here, I have my med kit, just being safe, making sure I have whatever I need just in case an accident does occur, but you should always be practicing safe gun handling. This is a Livens tactical EMT pouch. This pouch was bought on Amazon, but it doesn't come with any of the medical equipment. It's just the pouch itself. So you have to do your due diligence to acquire all the individual components you think you will need. This is another good point to make, but learning how to take care of wounds will always be just as valuable as shooting. Back to the pouch. I like this pouch because it does what I need it to do. And a really cool feature about this is if you need to use it, you can just unclip right here and tear it off, and that gives you access to the entire pouch. And when you're done, you can just throw it back on there. If you want to buckle it back up, you can, but if you're in a rush, you got to get moving. The Velcro is very strong, so you don't have to worry about buckling it up on site. You can just do it later when you get a chance. And over here is my Safariland holster. Now, the Safariland doesn't come in this design. I actually painted this myself. It actually originally came in a tan color, but if you want to spray paint it, go ahead. I mean, it was super easy. Or they have a ton of designs on the website if you want to get a nice color. Still got some pine straw on here. I don't remember the model off the top of my head on which one I got, but this one's from my M&P, which I can show you right now. This is from my M&P 2.0, 4¼ inch with a light. The cool thing about this one is also if you want to take the light off, you can still run it without the light in this holster. The light becomes optional. I tell people just to get the one with the light that's light compatible, and if you want to run it without, you can do so. But if you run it without the light, there is going to be a little bit of play. It doesn't bother me that much, but to some other people, it can bother them. I don't know why. It's just a place to hold your gun and retain it. In my opinion, the ALS system is the best out there. I know this setup isn't ideal for competitions, but I mainly bought this with the mindset of an all-around holster. If I had to use this belt in a real-world scenario, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable knowing there are multiple levels of retention securing my firearm. Now, I could buy a holster for matches and whatnot, but I'd rather get the reps in with the holster I'd pick up for those crazy shit hits the fan situations. The cool thing about Safariland holsters is that they have this QLS system that allows you to switch holsters with ease. I have this on all my outside the waistband holsters, so I don't have to remove the MOLLE or WTF straps in order to run a different gun. And as you can see on the back, Hopefully you guys can see that. I put a tier 1 concealed wedge on the back of this holster. I did this because I find I was getting a hot spot on my leg and that really bothered me. And since I use these wedges on my appendix holsters, I improvised and put it on here and it actually works like a dream. All right, so on to the leg strap. I have a Fire Force leg strap. This was just bought off of Amazon because I wanted a cheap leg strap to run. I'll probably change this eventually, but for the most part, it does what it needs to do. So that's all I have for you guys today. That's just my setup and it works best for me because it's slick and doesn't interfere with my chest rig setup. And I'll be making a video about my chest rig as well because I've seen that in the comments a lot. Also, I see a lot of people asking a lot of questions about what I do for work and why my face is blurred. I've answered this question a few times on my earlier videos, but I have a lot of new subscribers. So what I plan on doing is doing a Q&A for you guys. Maybe when I get to 10K subscribers, I'm just gonna make a post and you guys can just comment all your questions and then that'll be a video in and of itself. I'm just a normal guy, but I do get a lot of questions in regards to guns and gear and fitness. So I'm gonna make that video for you guys because I think you guys deserve it. I mean, you've been supporting me, so at least I can do is answer some questions for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I had a ton of fun making it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.